Welcome to another edition of The Producing Half, where we tackle the insanity of today's world from a producer's point of view. I find the reflections in the glasses just as annoying as you. This show kind of evolved over the last couple of days. I had quickly typed out some show notes. Then I got a video today, and I watched the video, and I was like, well, I've got to talk about this video as well. I mean, it ties into what I've always known and always heard, but and then I spent 20 minutes, just 20 minutes researching it. That's all it took was 20 minutes to pull up what, everything I needed to know about what was going on. It is not hard to find if you look. It is easy. They don't hide anything. And the issue is that they've been very good at marginalizing the conspiracy theory type terminology, so that when you start talking about things that are just a little bit out there, and they're only a little bit out there because no one's educated anymore and have critical thinking, but when you start talking about things that are just a little bit out there, it's so easy to be, oh, that's conspiracy theory, and it's so far out of how people think because they only believe what ABC, NBC, and CBS, and Fox News, and CNN, and a couple others, whatever those stations, or the New York Times, whatever they say, they only believe that, and they've never heard anything in that. So it's like a little bit of that whole cognitive dissonance thing, and it's just they just don't understand. They don't understand, and they think you're insane. It's so easy to be labeled insanity because the things sound insane. They sound insane. The conspiracies sometimes sound insane, but I go back to a previous video I did where I talked about that it's just natural for these very powerful, very wealthy individuals to want to take over management, oversight of the world. I mean, they're very well educated, very well connected. They see the big picture, generational wealth, generationally wealthy, however you want to say it. Why? I mean, you would want to too, I would hope, if you truly thought you were smarter than everyone else. The issue I have is with a sheeple, a serfs, just willingly going to the slaughter. So the first note I wanted to talk about, again, I typed this out a couple of days ago, Monday, and it's Wednesday. So a lot of times I'll just say one word like I know what I mean by that. But with Facebook, first thing I said I want to talk about was Facebook. The Facebook papers. Wow. What a fake conspiracy. What a fake whistleblower. That whistleblower, by the way, just Google it, is supported by billionaires. I believe, what's that weird guy's name? Pierre? Doesn't he start like eBay? Look it up. He's bankrolling her. It is a fake whistleblower. Corporations love regulations because they're the ones who are going to write the regulations through their lobbyists. This is fake. I don't know what the end result is. Maybe Facebook wants to be broken up. Maybe they want more regulations so they can purge more people. I don't know but it's not an accident. She's on the billionaire's payroll. She is not a whistleblower. She's 100% team whatever these purge the free-thinking Americans is. And where are our leaders that stand up and say the things that need to be said? When are you going to have your leaders use words like murder? Fauci is murdering America. CDC and the FDA are murdering Americans by not by treating people who were initially sick with COVID, by sending them home so they get sicker and die. They're murdering Americans. Where's the leader saying these words? Whenever the Chucky Doll, Speaker of the press secretary, whatever her title is, Chucky Doll, Mrs. Chucky Doll, whenever they asked her about the supply chain crisis, and her comment was, oh, well, I'm sorry about the great treadmill shortage. If I was a reporter there, I would have dropped my paperwork, stood up, and said, ma'am, I don't understand what you're dismissing or the joke you have, But people can't get food. People can't get diapers. People can't get the parts they need to fix their cars and the tractors. The economy is collapsing. You're a global elite, so you're okay with it. You're rich and you have powerful friends. You're still going to get your stuff. But the American people, not only can't get their stuff, they're paying more for it. That's what I would have done as a reporter. And every time they talk about, well, we're going to mandate this, mandate. We're the reporters standing up right there. Ma'am, when you say mandate, you mean unconstitutional power that you have no right to do? Where in the Constitution does it says that you can force Americans to take experimental drugs? It's against international treaties. It's against the Nuremberg. It's against all these things. You cannot force people to take experimental treatments that have, whether they have side effects or not. You can't do it. If they have negative consequences, it's a war crime. They're committing war crimes at this point. And then they tell the untrained, $6 an hour employees who are giving you the Fauci ouchie to not aspirate the needle because it might cause your arm to hurt. I don't believe that. They don't care about your arm. Why? Why would they reverse 100 years of medical practice of aspirating needles so you don't get it direct whenever it needs to go into the muscle, so you don't get it into the bloodstream? Why would they do that? What's the reason for that? Where are the leaders? Somebody like me who just works for a living and I don't have time to research, I don't have time to go do anything. Where are the people out there? I know that Ron Paul does a little bit, and they've tried to kill him a couple of times. Don't remember that baseball game? That guy was there to kill Ron Paul. They've tried to kill him. His neighbor broke a few ribs on him. So I get it. Maybe he's afraid. But he needs to stand up more. I know he went to war with Fauci a couple times. He felt safe doing that. But he needs to do more. Blackberry carbonated water with no artificial sweeteners or anything. No aspartame. I finally even broke my soda habit. Diet soda. Been off of regular soda for a long time. I don't drink. I can't even drink it. I don't even like it anymore. I had half of one the other day, and it was okay, but I don't even buy it anymore. Anyways, back to the point. We need leaders to stand up and do something. We need leaders to people of power, of influence. We need Ted Cruz and Rand Paul and the governors to start using the hard words. They need to start saying the things in a way that Americans, like how Donald Trump would say it. That was one of Donald Trump's greatest assets, was his inability to filter what was in his brain to his mouth. He just said the hard truths. And yeah, it wasn't pretty, and it was embarrassing sometimes, and it was cringy sometimes, but it resonated with Americans. We need our leaders to stand up and start talking the hard language with the hard truth. The Democrats do it, the leftists do it, the socialists do it, the commies do it, the fascists do it, but not us Americans. Us Americans, we want to beat around the bush. Man, the other day I was coming upstairs to go to bed, and my son said, what's it going to be like in a year or two? I mean, what am I going to do? He's 16, sophomore in high school. He's like, what am I going to do? I mean, he was asking about the future, like, what should he do? What's the plan? He just doesn't, and I keep most of this away from him. I don't really talk about this stuff to him per se, so I want him to focus on being a kid just a little longer. I mean, he knows a lot, and he's informed. He's definitely red-pilled, and he's probably more black-pilled than he should be. Red pill being that you understand the whole police state, and you took the red pill in the Matrix. You understand the truth. And then black pill means he doesn't really see a lot of hope. He's pessimistic. White pill would mean you're optimistic. And I understand why. I heard Michael Malice talk about it, and a couple others talk about how they're white pilled. Man, I don't know. They live in a different world than me. I just don't see. I understand the people that we're fighting against are dumb, but so are the vast majority of people who should be resisting. The American people, they're not dumb. They could learn, but they're asleep still. They need to be awakened. The American engine, the American people are a scary thing. Look what they did, and whenever they finally, when they get awake and they get synergy, they can do anything they want. America is truly the greatest nation on earth, and its people are too. Its culture is. But right now, everybody's asleep. And sure, the people we see, the Bidens and stuff, are dumb. They're idiots. But they're not the ones making the decision. They're just the frontline people. That's not who we're fighting against. There's no way that those guys are organizing and doing all this. It's just not possible. And so I think Michael Malice and them who see the white pill, they see how dumb these leaders on the opposite side are. And they're like, there's no way these guys can beat us. Well, Trump said the same thing about Biden. Look how that worked out. They're not the ones, those frontline people that are saying the dumb things aren't the ones that we're really fighting. They're just the frontline people. The people behind them telling them what to say and when to do it and how to do it, and the ones drafting these bills. None of these congressmen, none of these people in the House of Representatives or the Senate read any of these bills. They can't. They get them an hour before they have to vote for them, and they're 10,000 pages long. They don't read it. They could, and they surely didn't write it. No politician is writing these bills. They're not writing them. It's lobbyists. It's corporations. It's huge. It's law firms. Those are the people who are running it. It's a machine now. It's a bureaucracy and a machine, and that's who we're fighting: is the bureaucracy and the machine. Not Biden, not the Chucky doll. We're not fighting them. They're not who we should be up against. I don't like saying personal insults, but she truly makes me angry. Her condescending, dismissive way of talking. She is mad, angry that she has to lower herself to talk to the reporters who she may even consider, part of the upper echelon, but in turn, it's because she's talking to the masses, the serfs, and she can't possibly see how she should put any effort. The scorn, the hatred that comes off of her when she talks, she infuriates me more than Biden tenfold. I cannot stand her. And the girl before her for Trump, I'm horrible about names, by the way. I think you'll learn that. She was so good. Now, don't get me wrong. Jen is, the Chucky doll is very good. She is extremely talented in what she does. She's on it. And I've seen her break and crack a little bit lately. Stress is getting to her, I think. But you can't fault her for her ability. It's her attitude and her scorn for us Americans that just comes through. Well, anyways, back to what I was saying. My son asked me that question, and my answer to him was sad because he is a math nerd. He wanted to be an actuary. He wanted to work in accounting or actuary and stuff like that. That's what he wants to do. But I don't see a future in any of that right now. I told him he needs to think about a trade. He needs to learn to be an electrician, a plumber, a mechanic. He needs to learn to be a carpenter. The trade, people who know trades, and that's not me. I sit at a desk and I push paper. I do numbers. I figure out how to do loans and finance people. For, by the way, low income and just your average blue collar workers. That's who I work with. I work with producers. But it's trades, and that's not his talent. I mean, he's a nerd. He's a math nerd. He's excellent in math. He's, straight A student. He's not a trade person, but trades are the future, I think, of survivability, no matter what happens. If we're just going to have, kind of like a bad recession and a bad economy for a few years, and it's not, Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, trades are still going to be needed and powerful. They're not going to need people to sit there and push loans for houses that nobody can buy. Nobody has jobs. And if it's a Great Depression, it's horrible Great Depression, and still, it's trades. They're still going to need electricians and bricklayers and woodworkers and plumbers and mechanics, especially mechanics. People aren't going to be buying new cars. They're going to need to keep their old cars running. And even if it's, the global takeover and America collapses and we're a third world nation, still going to need all those trades. Even if it's Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, no one is going to care that you can do complex calculus. They'll need those people to rebuild eventually, but it's going to be the trades. People have trades. And I'm a jack of all trades. So I can do a little bit of everything. You know, I've worked on cars, but I am not a mechanic. I've done electrical work, but I'm not an electrician. I've done plumbing work, but I'm not a plumber. I've not done woodworking. I definitely should stay as far away from wood as possible. I mean, I have, but I'm not any good. I don't have the patience. Measure twice, cut once. I can measure 14 times, and I still have to cut 5 times. I'm just not good at it. It's not my sphere. I can take anything apart, figure out. I can fix things. I fixed complicated things too. So I can do those things, but I don't have a trade. I couldn't market myself that way. I just know a little bit about everything. Jack of all trades and a master of none, except for things that aren't going to help us in what's coming. I don't see around what's coming. I don't know the severity of what's coming. I don't know if it's just going to be a severe recession or just a mild depression, a great depression, a complete reorganization of society. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm preparing for what I can prepare for, and what I can prepare for is a recession and a mild depression. Maybe even a great depression, but it'll a mild recession I can survive probably. We'll be poor, but still have everything we have. A depression will change our way of living significantly, but I could probably still keep it all together. Great Depression, I'm screwed. Just am. I'm a producer, so I'll figure it out. But I'm screwed with my standard of living for shortles. And, Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, well, I'm definitely screwed. I'm old and broken and fat and medical issues. I'm just got to try to impart all the knowledge I can on my children. And I started preparing for that. I started preparing for all those scenarios as best I can. Without wasting too much funds, because you don't want to, waste money for something that's never going to happen. And I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully the white pill people are correct. The white pill people are correct because Fauci made a fatal error. He messed with dogs. People are finally mad that Fauci did something. They're not mad because he's been experimenting on humans. They're not mad because he's been torturing humans. They're not mad because he's killing people, murdering people. No, they're mad because he is abusing dogs. Whatever. You should take whatever it is that you can get people to get on your side. So if the BLM movement wants to fight the vaccine mandated, hey, let's help those BLM people fight that vaccine mandate. If PETA wants to go up against Fauci, hey, let's help PETA go up against Fauci. Let's let the leftists, let's let them fight it out. Let's let them duke it out. But no, people were not upset about all the rights that they lost, all the constitutional rights that they lost, all the power grabs. Well, they weren't upset about the Patriot Act power grabs either. So they weren't upset whenever Snowden revealed what was going on with the police state. But I kind of feel like it is a house of cards. A house of cards, and are they losing control? Has it become too rapid? You look at China and their real estate bubble that they're having issues with. You look at the derivatives market, how it's trillions of dollars. It's completely unfunded. If it starts, one domino goes there, it's going to completely collapse. Look at what happened with Robinhood. Some freaking Reddit nerds almost collapsed the backbone of the internet, the warehouses. They were running out of money. They couldn't cover the shorts. They were running out of funds. Robinhood had no more money. Robinhood is owned by those, back-end warehouses. And they told Robinhood, hey, you got to cut these guys off. They're crashing the stock market behind the scenes. And they're making money in a way that only us billionaires, refer back to my 401k video. They get access to the data before you have it. They have computer networks right next to the exchange, so they can get the information a billionth of a second before anybody else does and make a trade on that. And we're talking fractions of pennies that they're making with billions of dollars. So they're making tons of money. It's the whole thing. And then metals. Metals, I didn't read it. I saw an article about that they just don't have any more metals to trade or something. And I've been saying that forever, that there's more silver shorted than exists on Earth. There's not even enough silver if they mined it, every ounce of silver on Earth to cover all that. And they're finally realizing that on the metals there is paper assets that there's not enough physical metal to cover it, and people are starting to hoard metal. I don't know. So my wife said something the other day is that we need to have more metals in case it gets super, super bad to trade with. And the problem is that no one's going to trade a silver coin for a bottle of water. When you're at that stage, when you are just trying to get food and water, and it's going to be a decade if it got that bad, and I don't know that it'll ever get that bad. I'm not a doom and gloom kind of guy, because I love air conditioning and toilet paper, so I'd never want it to get that bad. But if it gets that bad, the first decade, no one's going to be trading monies. They're going to be trading goods. Hey, you got, all right, here's 10 bullets for your rifle. Let me have that chicken. That's what it's going to be, a bartering system. And you can't eat gold. You can't eat silver. You can't eat bitcoins. You can't eat any of the monies. And they'll eventually, the first thing that will be traded will be precious metals. Once you get past the bartering system, it will be precious metals. And then it'll all start again, and eventually you end up with central banks and fiat currency and fractional reserve banking and a debt-based economy, and then it'll all happen again. Because we let evil, greedy people get in control, and we let them control the educational system, and then we stop educating ourselves so we understand how it all works. We stop becoming diligent, and they get it all again. And the watchers, the people who should help us keep an eye on everything, the media, well, they've just gone truly evil. They've gone from something to be envied and something to aspire to be, something you see a reporter on the street, and I'm talking about a long time ago, you're like, oh my God, that's so-and-so, can I get your autograph? Oh, you do such great work. And then, then they went to maybe vaguely incompetent, and then they went to just kind of always looking to get the story, the scoop, the story and the scoop. And then they went to always wanting to tear somebody down. They just wanted to tear, all they ever got to was tear people down. And then, and now they've just went all the way over. And then they went to picking sides. And then they went to having an agenda. And then they went to being slaves to the agenda. And that's where we were just, that's the what we were just in, is the media was the slaves to the agenda. And now they are truly evil. They went from slaves to the agenda to willing participants, eager participants, and the evil agenda. And Fox was always controlled opposition. I hear people say, well, you got Fox News. Fox was always controlled opposition at the tops. Yeah, there's individuals in the Fox network, Tucker Carlson comes to mind, that are not controlled opposition, but their time is limited. They will get rid of Tucker. He makes them money, so, and they can, he's one show, and they can unenforce his, instead of reinforce, unenforce. Making new words here. They can subvert his message, but they're 100% pushing. The evil media is pushing the agendas of the elite's agendas. They're pushing population control through various organizations. They're 100% behind the politics of one side, the leftist Marxist side, and they're 100% behind the enslavement of the serfs, the enslavement of the American people, of the peons, the workers, the poors, the people that are not them. They consider themselves the elites. They're not. They're not. They're going to be in that hole too. That's something that the leftists don't understand. I was probably going to get into this later, but I'll talk about it now. Is that you have the far right and the far left, and the far right is ineffective. They are, the crazy, the KKKs, the white supremacists, the whatevers. I mean, and there are very few of them, and they're completely obvious, and they can't blend in. They're ineffective, and they're small. There's not many of them. And then you got the far left. It's huge. The far left is huge, and they're organized, and they're invasive, like cockroaches. They're in all the colleges. They're in all the media. They're in all the government, the bureaucracy. They're everywhere. The far left is everywhere. Here's the difference between the far right and the far left as far as whenever Marxism or the global elite or whoever finally gets what they want. The far right's not dangerous to them. The far left is. The far left is dangerous to those people. So it's not going to be the far right that's in the holes first, getting buried by bulldozers. Nope. It's going to be the far left. It's going to be the very people who fought like hell to get that change, to get those Marxists or those elitists in. It's going to be those very people that are going to be the first in the hole. It's going to be the height of all irony. I want more of my flag in the video. I like my flag. My wife did that. I stopped supporting, as I said many times. I stopped supporting the evil. I canceled everything except for Netflix because my parents and my in-laws. But everything else is gone. I spend no money, as little money as possible, with any of these evil people. I stopped supporting the evil. You gotta stop spending your money with them. Don't spend anything on Amazon. You can look things up on Amazon. Like I look things up on Google, but I won't click on any of their ads. If you search something for Google, the first few will be the results you want, but there'll be ads. I don't click on those. A lot of times, I use Google for the things that don't matter, and Brave for the things that do. So Google, I'm looking for a restaurant, or I'm looking for a part for something. But I make sure I never give Google any money, or as little as possible. Don't spend your money with the evil. Support local. Cancel everything. I used to go to the movies once or twice a week with my whole family. And we go to Alamo Drafthouse, which is super expensive. It's $100 to $200 every time you go. That's $200, really. The movie and the food's super expensive. We go at least once a week. At least once. We're spending a lot of money on that industry. Haven't paid a single dime to those places since COVID, since they started attacking everything about our rights and our freedoms. Haven't spent a single dime. Never went to any one of those movies. There's different ways to watch those movies, just as fast as it can be. I do get HBO Max for free with my cell phone plan. But you gotta support local. Buy everything you can local. I've been looking for a local place to source seeds and meats and animals and eggs. Eggs are easy to find, but the rest is a little rougher. And plus, I live in a subdivision in the city. It's not like I can have a cow out back. And it's expensive to buy a cow and have it processed, all the meat. It's super expensive to get all that done. I mean, you're paying $15 a pound, maybe. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think they weigh it with the bones. Man, that's it's a lot. And then, of course, the labor shortage, the Great Reset. The labor shortage is the Great Reset. They are loving the labor shortage. The giant corps are going to weather the labor shortage. They can weather it. They can afford to pay the money to get the employees they need. It is first of all, the lockdowns took out all the small businesses. There's a quote a meme or something somebody did that is perfect for this. Um, I have it in my photos. I read it and I thought that is perfect. This is Notorious Celt or Celt? Celtic Notorious. I'm not saying they are, I don't do contractions. They're intentionally trying to shut down small businesses, destroy the middle class, transfer the majority of the wealth to the world's largest corporations, and divide us with fear and hatred. But if they were doing those things, what would they be doing differently? Yes, what would they be doing differently? The giant corpse can. The COVID shutdowns destroyed the middle class, destroyed the middle class business owner, and then the Great Reset, the labor shortage is just another way to do it. That's what the whole COVID mandates are. The vaccine passport mandates are. They are the giant corpse can weather the labor shortages. Now we're seeing some pushback on it. Thank the Lord. Some people are waking up. You had the Southwest, or kind of like Southwest, like, oh, we're not going to fire anybody after all. And you have some industry, and I saw this recently where they're saying, can we wait till after Christmas for the mandates? Let's get through Christmas so we can milk as much money from the American people as possible. The labor shortage is just another way to end small business and the middle class. It is what it is. And that's what all the stimulus was for, and all the higher minimum wages are for. Or the minimum wage and the stimulus and everything. All that is about keeping workers out of the small businesses, the privately owned small companies that can't afford to lose money and absorb higher wages for any length of time. Where your Walmarts can, your Targets can, your Amazons can, your Google can, your big giant corporations can do it. Elon Musk, I mean, I don't know what to make of him. I was going to say Tesla can, but Tesla doesn't really make money. I feel like it's some sort of weird Ponzi scheme. I feel like he's probably the greatest criminal of all time. He's the richest person on earth, and he has a company I don't think makes money. And I don't think it has a plan on making money. So maybe he's just waiting for, I know there's a lot of initiatives coming where you're not going to be able to even build a car that has a gas engine, so maybe he's positioning himself for that. But I don't know, his stock is, I was telling people when they were buying at $400, I was like, and granted, I'm not the brightest bulb, I was telling people when they were buying it at $400 that, why? The company doesn't make money. I don't understand. How can you be buying a stock? So I don't know what to make of good old Elon. Now, I saw a video that I wanted to share with you. And this is going to be a challenge because I'm not used to using this technology, this newfangled technology. But I want to share this video with you. So I don't know if it's going to work. So I will start it off by giving you, well, let's start by saying that you have to resist the vaccine mandate as much as possible, because it's really not about the vaccine. It is about the vaccine passport, and that's still not about the vaccine. It is about the digital passport. It is about the social credit score. It is about what's coming. That's what this is all about. It's about what's coming. And so this is just a first step. There are people in India who literally are dying because their rations of food are tied to the digital passport over there. And if they don't have all their biometric data uploaded to it, they don't get their ration of food. And these are people who aren't, they're not very technologically inclined. So it has people are dying. And this is what they want to bring to America. They want to bring to America this social credit score, this global digital ID that they'll use to control everything. Oh, it'll be billed as a as a great help to you. It'll be the greatest thing for you. It's going to make everything about your life easier. It's going to support you in all these different ways. But ultimately, it's to control you. It's just like China. You won't be able to fly. You'll go to buy something, and it'll tell you, oh, well, you don't have enough carbon credits to buy this. You're going to have to go buy the generic version. Or, nope, you can't have any real meat anymore. You've used up all your carbon credits for meat. Instead, you're going to need to go get the plant-based meat that Bill Gates wants everybody to eat. I haven't watched his video where he talks about that, but I did see it. It's like, I already know what he's going to say. It's like, why watch it? Well, I guess I have to. I was thinking about this before we get into this video. I was thinking about, do I just need to spend all of my free time fighting these people now? It's gotten to that point. Nobody watches these videos because I haven't really advertised them, although I'm about to really start pushing that. YouTube will boot me, of course, because I don't even read their guidelines. I think you're supposed to say, trust the science, or Fauci's God, and talk to your doctor. I heard like Tim Pool talk about, oh, if your doctor's not any good, go find another one. Please! You have no how hard it is to find a doctor that will take a patient. I could right now get on the phone, call 100 doctors, and not get an appointment for 6 months. Not even kidding. Not even remotely joking. Every time I got to find a doctor for me or my wife. It's, I got your appointment to go see your doctor in 3 months. And you're like, oh, I'll just change doctors. My doctor's an idiot. I'll just change doctors. Well, they all get their marching orders. You have to be a wealthy, connected person like Rogan to get those good doctors, or join some online community and get some doctor that got the degree at Club Med. It's not as easy as just go find another doctor. That is a very easy thing to say, but I have struggled with doctors for 2 decades. Finding one, getting a... And when you're sick, good luck. You don't get an appointment. You'll call them and you're super sick. You've got the flu or whatever. Or COVID. When my wife called her doctor because she had COVID, they set their appointment like next week, the week after. It's like, well, what? You have COVID. Everybody dies when they get COVID. You got to rush to the doctor right then and there. No, they don't want you to go to the doctor. They want you to go to the hospital. They want you to go to the hospital so they can tell you to go home, get sicker, and die. And they can put you on a ventilator and get paid more money. But again, we had the horse dewormer and stuff needed to beat off COVID, so it wasn't a disaster. But if we were just a normal person, then we would have been in trouble. Like, okay, well, in a week we'll go see the doctor. By then we'll be super sick because we didn't know what to do, and there's nothing online that tell you can't do anything. It's not, if the FDA and the CDC didn't say it, you can't do it. So it's not that easy to go get another doctor. But this whole vaccine thing, it's stage one. It's stage one. They saw this as an opportunity. I don't know if they planned it all. I don't know if they're that smart. Who knows? It was definitely a bioweapon. When I say bioweapon, I don't mean they developed it as a bioweapon. I'm calling it a bioweapon because it was artificially created for whatever means. I don't know why they're doing it for. And they artificially created it, and it either was released on purpose or it got out. Whatever the case may be, to me, it's a bioweapon. Because it was made by man for something, and I don't think it's something good. So they created this, and they're using it to push the social credit score, the ability to the digital passport, the digital ID, the one world government digital ID. They're 100% doing that to you. So here's the first video I would like you to watch. This would be good old Blair.
Digital ID for me is a very big part of the future. So digital ID is for me absolutely crucial because, for example, on COVID, what is the problem with this coronavirus? The problem is it's not a disease that's so serious that it's like the plague, right? Most people who get it will survive.
I mean, just look at the title. Digital IDs, biometric IDs, absolutely unavoidable. This was done in July of 2020. So, what? January, February, March, April, May, July. So there's no vaccine. 6 months into it. We'll keep watching.
However, it's bad enough, and we all know people who've had it and had it badly enough that you don't want to get it. So the problem is you have to lock down the entire economy in order to deal with the small number of people who get it and are going to suffer badly. A way out of this is to be able to test people several times and for people to actually have a biometric identity which can say, look, I've been tested or I've had the disease and here are my antibodies, so that life can get back to normal. So your digital ID can play a part in COVID, but also if you think of the transactions that you want to do now with your customers, it's much simpler for them if they have a digital identity. Or you take the big issue in the Western world today, which is, quite apart from COVID, I would say is worries about immigration, who has the right to be in your country, who has the right not to be. Without a form of identity, it's very hard to tell.
Yeah, it's going to be not who has the right to be in your country, but who has the right, who's the right person. Do you have the right thoughts? Are you the right person we want to be able to spend your money? You have to be able to see where this is going. And they've been pushing this for a long time. COVID is just giving them the excuse to start the first domino to where we're going to end up. And this is, look it up. There's places this is already 100% in effect. There's places where this is already 100% happening. All right.
Who's got a right to be in a country, who's not. So there are a whole series of ways in which the citizen's life and its interaction, the citizen's interaction with the state can be improved by the use of digital ID, provided you put the right regulation around privacy and so on and protection of data around it.
Yeah, whose privacy? Not yours. They already read every email. And benefit of the state. It's not going to be for your benefit. It's going to be for benefit of the state. Look what they did to Alex Jones. Look what they did to Parler. Look what they did to Gab. You're like, well, build your own. You don't like Facebook, build your own. Okay, well, Gab built their own. Well, then they pulled the infrastructure, the backbone of the internet out from under them, so they can't exist. They are going to be able to deperson you. Everybody was okay with them depersoning Alex Jones because he says crazy things. So like, let's deperson him. They create this straw man version of him. Really focus on one dumb thing he said and did, and then they deperson him. If they do it to him, they can do it to you. And they haven't just done it to him. They've depersoned a lot of people. I haven't watched this whole thing, so let's finish it.
But this is going to become, inevitably, governments are going to move in this direction. Absolutely inevitably. And so I think what's important is that we from the political side, wake up to the potential of technology and engage with the change makers, those inventing the technology, so that we understand it and can regulate it sensibly and not stupidly.
Regulate it sensibly and not stupidly. How do you think they're going to be regulating that? They're going to be regulating it for their advantage. Now, I have another video that I want you to watch that I'll need to figure out how to switch to. We just watched the YouTube video for, here we go. This is the next one. So, this video, let me make sure it's in the right spot. Yeah, it's at the beginning. Good. This is you have to be sophisticated enough to see where this is going. Let's watch this video. This horrific, end of the world video.
Hello everyone, meet Lucy, student in psychology, and me, her digital ID wallet issued by the government to offer a wide
Issued by who? Oh, issued by the government. The government never does anything wrong. It'll be okay. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. The government doesn't have a certain class of people that it doesn't like. It wouldn't do anything to a certain class of people. It's trustworthy. Don't worry about it. Ask those Indians about it in India. Ask the Chinese people about it in China.
range of identity services, In fact, I'm a handy way of proving and protecting her identity both online and face-to-face. Let's have a closer look at what I can do. I can help governments to better communicate with citizens.
What? Yeah, direct access to you. I'm sure you'll enjoy that.
Right now, I'm reminding Lucy of the appointment she needs to schedule for her mandatory vaccination.
Mandatory vaccination. What? When was this done? October 22nd, 2020. They're reminding her of her mandatory vaccination. What are the other reminders that they'll be able to push to poor old, is her name Lucy? Your mandatory re-education. You've got to come down for your mandatory weigh-in to make sure you haven't been hoarding food.
Time to go to her exam. Lucy is a bit stressed out. I'm here to make it easy for her to prove she is the right candidate, with a quick and secure connection between her phone and the examiner's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your social credit score has dropped below the threshold. You're no longer going to be able to participate in this exam. You need to go do some things to bring up your social credit score.
Exam passed successfully. Quick stop at the doctor's before celebrating, and no time to lose. On the way, Lucy uses me to declare her passport lost. She needs it for her upcoming road trip.
They already have your facial ID, your retinal. They're going to have your retinal scans, your fingerprints. You're not going to be able to drink water without this stuff. If we do not stop it, you're not going to be able to breathe air. They're going to, I've seen the reports about how they're really focusing on being able to read thoughts and minds. And they're already talking about how they can erase certain thoughts out of people's minds. This isn't conspiracy. They're doing these experiments. I'm not saying they got it perfected and they're going around and men in blacking people. But this is where it's all going. You've got to look at the beginning of something and then extrapolate and figure out where it's going to go. These people are evil, and they're extremely intelligent and effective.
Issue. She can request an emergency digital passport without having to go to the authority office. I make official admin a lot smoother. And that's not all. I can also help Lucy request a birth certificate, pay her taxes, or prove who she is when onboarding to new services, such as opening a bank account.
Yeah, so a bank account. What do you think is going to happen when you're no longer a desirable citizen? What do you think is going to happen to your access to the bank account? And it's all going to be digital currency. They're in love with digital currency. They cannot stand the unbanked. I heard maybe somebody say that today. The unbanked. I heard that phrase, and I thought, oh, that's the unbanked. They cannot stand the whole chain shortage, please. They cannot stand people transacting in ways that they can't extract money from or have control over. You fall below whatever they want for the social credit score or whatever criteria they have, you become an undesirable, a deplorable. Wow, I wonder where we get these words from. And you're not going to have access to your bank account anymore. You're not going to be able to buy anything. You're not going to be able to eat.
I allow Lucy to certify her healthcare coverage entitlement. She's able to decide whether to authorize the
Healthcare entitlement. Did you see all the words they have in here? These words are carefully curated by psychologists and psychiatrists. The words they've used are on purpose.
doctor to access her medical records or not.
And the government issued this. Who's going to have access to your medical records? The government. They're going to have complete access. You've seen with the tax returns, the IRS, the Trump released tax returns, all the leaks. If the government has it, everybody has it. Everybody who wants it and has the power has it.
Ensuring her control over her personal data. Lucy needs one more thing before being all set for her trip to Australia. Renting a car. I help her share her driver's license credentials online, so that she doesn't have to wait hours in a queue to collect the car when she gets to
it's convenient.
Brisbane.
It's for your benefit.
The rental company benefits from secure and accurate information, and Lucy from a smooth experience. Lucy's friends are waiting for her inside the bar. To allow her to get in, I simply generate a QR code that
Allow her to get in, like it's for her convenience? No. It should be, in order for her to be allowed in, we'll have to check her social credit score. Oh, she came up red. I'm sorry, you're not allowed in here. Maybe you should go to one of the places where you have to work in order to benefit from food or drink or whatever.
Lucy is old enough, so she doesn't have to share all her ID details with the bar staff. So yes, I'm Lucy's best companion. I protect her.
You won't be a person. You'll be a green light or a red light, so you don't have to share her ID. So she's not a person. I remember I worked at a company a long time ago, AMF. It's a bowling alley. And I remember whenever it was going bankrupt, it was having problems, they sent out to the managers, and I was a manager there, they sent out a memo in dealing with your people. It said, don't think of them as people, assign numbers to them, and just think of them as numbers. And then you can make the decisions you need to make. That's corporations. That is a corporation. And what you're going to become is you're not going to be a person anymore. You're going to be a green or a red. And maybe they're going to have, oh, you're a gold star? You're gold? Oh, well, come right in. You get these special tables over here. I mean, you have to be able to extrapolate and see where this is going.
Her identity and official credentials wherever she goes. I provide secured access to public and private services and allow her to...
You won't be able to get online. You'll have to have this to even get online. You say, well, they can't. They control the internet infrastructure. They 100% can.
To have full control over her data privacy. In other words, I give the right access to the right data to the right person. I am also trusted by government.
The right access to the right data to the right person. Are you the right person? I guarantee a lot of us are not going to be the right person.
To best support country's digital transformation, fight against ID fraud, and deliver smooth public services. I am the Thales Digital ID Wallet.
Well. You have to be able to see where that is going. You have to understand what it's going to be, what they're going to do. And it has been... I spent 20 minutes looking into things, and I want to show you something else that I noticed. Perfect, got it. All right, so I want to share this with you while we go through this. And I know that, it's wonder how that worked out. We may have to cut some of that. I have no idea what I just did. All right, so now let's look at some of this stuff. This is, how do I get to it? Okay, I can look at it. This is from Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. Wow, tech solutions for global genomic sequencing, genome, and surveillance. I mean, are you kidding me with this stuff? Let me see what I highlighted. You can read it. I read the whole thing. It has horrific things all in it. Let's look at the policy recommendations. Establish an international body, ideally convened by the World Health Organization, in other words, globalists, to serve as the steward for a global technology solution. Set, monitor, and enforce standards for participation, data sharing, and reporting. They're going to have complete control over the world, not just America. Forget about America, but the WHO, the UN, the globalists are going to have complete control over all your information. You're going to be 100% limited to what they say. And I suggest you read all this, all the things they're talking about. They don't hide it. There's so many resources out there. They 100% go through everything they want to do and how they want to do it. and what their plans are. I mean, this was done a while ago. This was done back in May of 2021. And there's more that were done even earlier. And it's total one world government, control over the populace. And I want to go to the end and just look at their policy recommendations. Establish an international body, ideally convened by the WHO, to serve as the steward of global technology solutions, set, monitor, and enforce standards for participation. And I guarantee you're not going to be able to participate. That's what we're looking at here today, guys. We're looking at that. And I have another one that I would like to show you. It is not that one. I should probably be a little more organized than I am. It's this one. All right. So this is the one I want to show you. This is vaccines and vaccinating the world today. There we go. All right. Sorry, I got 43 windows open here. And so vaccinating the world today. I mean, they are, and again, this one was also done in May of 2021. We sure are doing a lot in May of 2021. I wanted to look at this part 3, ensuring the systematic. Anyways, we'll just go for it. So you can read it. It's just talking about getting the vaccine, making sure they get the vaccine out to everybody. They really want to have everybody with the vaccine. They're going through all the different ways. They use basically all this looks like to be a money grab, coming up with lots of pretty words to take your money. But it is 100% behind the global initiative to get it for the one world government, for the vaccine mandate, which is the social credit score. That's what all this is leading into. Other than you see, there's lots of people whose motives all coincide to what they want. They all are going to want the same thing. So you got the pharmaceutical companies who want the power and the control. You've got the global elites who want the power and the control. Now, the pharmaceutical companies also want to make a bunch of money. You got Fauci, who may just be, Joseph Mengele or some evil doctor, or he may want lots of money. He may want power and control. All these people may not be in on the ultimate goal of the global elite of having control over every second of your life, and being able to control everything you do, and having a population that is, probably living as a third world type population, while they live in these great city states. But systemization and data capture. They want to capture all the data, and it's going to start with the vaccinated, but it's going to go further. Data storage. They want to be able to store all the data in a central system that they are the only ones that have access to. And they will let the governments, they're going to control everything. You're not going to be able to participate in their systems unless you're not going to be able to get access to the data unless you follow their rules. But you're also not going to be able to do other things unless you have access to the data. And they'll do this on a country level. Data sharing, they'll control who gets to share it, and the data privacy, well, there will be no thing as privacy. You won't get to see what they have on you, but they will definitely get to see what have on you. Now, this next part is interesting, reducing vaccine hesitancy. Coordinate global data sharing on the impact that vaccines are having on reducing cases, hospitalization, death, and reduce vaccine hesitancy. Support better decision making. That's basically saying the carrot and the stick. And right now they're using the stick. The carrot didn't work, so now they're using the stick. Data and the way we present it. What do you think that means? That's just a euphemism for let's say what we need to say. Is in the most important tool is the most important tool we have to combat vaccine hesitancy. Without publishing understandable, in other words, they're just going to make it up, contextualized, well, they got, we're dumb. We got to be able to we got to be able to understand what the context is and what does this all really mean. I mean, we serfs are dumb. I mean, golly. Contextualized data that clearly sets out the benefits of vaccination. You mean the benefits of what they want, their benefits, not your benefits, especially when compared to the risks. I think they mean the risks of not having the vaccine. In other words, you won't be able to fly. You won't be able to go to the grocery store. You won't be able to have a job. We are creating vacuums where misinformation, you mean information that they don't control or want you to know, and fear and confusion thrive. So I spent 20 minutes Googling, finding all kinds of information on this stuff. We as a people need to get more organized. We need to get more educated. We need to spend more time figuring all this out. We need to try harder. And I'm lazy, man. I feel you. I don't want to do this either. I just want to go to work, come home, spend some time with my family. Sometimes they're brats. I don't have time for any of this, man. I'm always going to all these school functions, always taking these kids to this extra. And when I'm whining to them about it, like, man, I'm always driving you everywhere, blah, 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 they remind me that I'm the one that makes them do it. So they win that one. But, man, I don't have time. But do I need to spend all my free time figuring all this out and trying to figure out ways to combat it? And do you? At the very least, you got to stop supporting the evil. You have to stop supporting the evil. So all I have today on the producing half, the message today is stop supporting the evil. I don't know what's going to happen, man, but it's interesting times. We'll see how it goes.